Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Glendale Housing Authority meeting of February 3rd, 2009. May we have a roll call for the authorities?
Authority members: Draymond.
Here.
Mincy.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Parazian.
Here.
Quintero.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Yusefian.
Here, may we have your report, please?
The agenda for the February 3rd, 2009 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, January 29, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. What's next, please?
Next is approval of minutes.
Before we go there, we have a speaker on the minutes. Mr. Herbert Milano.
Thank you, Chairman Yusefian, members of the Housing Authority. I have been looking over the. My name is Herbert Milano. I have been looking over the minutes of the previous meetings this year, and I noticed that my name appears as a speaker for many of the prior meetings, but the topic of which I speak does not appear. I've been told all kinds of reasons why the topic of which we speak does not appear on the minutes. It's not consistent throughout the city, and it's not consistent among different governmental units, where sometimes I find it in a good detail, the things that I speak about. And it is my hope that the city will eventually turn to at least acknowledging, just one sentence of what the topic was about, whether it was about a quality of life report or about shortages of parkland, something that simple, a phrase that says, this has been brought to your attention on a continual basis, so that sometime in the future, like when there are elections, you say, well, this subject has been brought to you at least 40 times in the last 2 years, and then it doesn't become such a surprise when people come in to speak about it and say, we have come in before and spoke about those issues. And I think it is the just thing to do for the public, to at least give that recognition that it's not just a person appearing before you, but it is the subject in an idea or a suggestion or a problem that is being presented. And so I'm here appealing that the minutes, not just for the Housing Authority, but eventually throughout government, show the topic and the subject that was brought up. And by the way, Mr. Draymond, I truly appreciate your actions earlier today in recapping the topics that the speakers spoke about. That kind of recognition, I think, goes a long ways towards restoring our confidence in government. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Clerk, who prepares the minutes for the Housing Authority? Is it your
Our department does, yeah.
You do?
Yes.
And let me ask you another question. I have noticed that when you prepare the reports for the City Council, the minutes, sometimes there is a paragraph or less than that about what the speaker said something, and then there's sometimes that there is absolutely nothing.
We include that in council and staff comments, but not for the speakers from the public.
Okay, so basically you are following the same guidelines.
Precisely.
On oral communication, and this oral communication, you just do not put anything anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Chairman of the Housing Authority, they're considered action minutes. This is the parliamentary term for them. They're action minutes.
Thank you.
I will move the minutes. Second.
Thank you. The minutes will be approved as submitted. Next item, oral communication.
Next item is oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the Housing Authority may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision, and the matter may be referred to staff through the Executive Director for an investigation and report.
Okay. Mr. Milano.
I have a brief PowerPoint slides. Well, the viewer, I guess, is powering up. I would like to emphasize. Sorry, let me go back to that slide. one of the things that I love to see in the quality of life report would be a report on the trends with regard to violent crime and property crime. And as you can see, I have here a chart that would fit within the screen from 1996. Actually, since 1993, the trend in violent crime, as reported to the FBI and the Bureau of Crime Statistics, is that up until 2004, we had a fairly significant reduction in crime, and not just in Glendale, but throughout the United States. The increases in our police funding started in 2004. So I think this chart tells us primarily that in spite of the millions of dollars of additional police resources that you have put into the city, it has not necessarily turned into the corresponding decreases in violent crime. And so when I'm talking about resources, I said it has an impact, because this morning we're talking about the fact that police may get the budget they want, fire may get the budget they want, but what about parks and all the needs of the community? What I want to show you is this. On Saturday morning, I got a complaint from one of my tenants. They live on the apartment right above these stairs. And they said that every Saturday is the same thing. The neighborhood children come around and play basketball or pretend basketball, ride the skateboards down the ramp, play football in the front lawn. And if you wanted to have these kids go out to a park in Recreational Planning Area 10, you can go 10 blocks without finding a single park. And so I came here to appeal to you for a different solution to this problem. About a block away, we have the YMCA. And I was thinking there are about 12 kids who regularly play there. And I said, all right, maybe I can just buy them a year membership to each one of them. But then I got to thinking, why should I pay for that? I mean, we are, after all, paying taxes, and we are, after all, having a significant budget. So why not have the city, instead of doing the major capital investments, maybe take some of the money savings from the other athletic activities that you discussed earlier this morning, and buy these kids a one-year membership at the YMCA where they have a chance to play basketball and go swimming and have the facilities that the city is not providing for them sufficiently near so that they can walk there. And that is the concept that I want to bring up. That there are literally, dozens and dozens of children within this area in Recreational Planning Area 10 that haven't had adequate parkland. And by the time we finish with any type of capital improvements from the area, we can at least provide an outlet. And it is having an impact on the quality of life. I don't have the heart to come and tell these kids, don't play around here. Find some other place. These are good kids. There's nothing wrong with them. They are not into crime or any malice. They just need a place to play. And here is a quality of life issue. And I need to show both, because on the one hand, even though our police budget basically has practically doubled in the last 8 years, we haven't had the resources, and this is how it shows. If on the one hand we don't take care of the budget, we do not have the ability to be able to provide for our communities, especially those in dire need. And that has been my theme all along. Nothing against the police or fire. The burden that I want to bring to you is the burden that the community has to bear, because the funding is not there. And there are alternative answers for us. The YWCA is about 4 blocks away. So I think that we can provide for these kids, and it is my hope that the Housing Authority, and maybe with some additional assistance from HUD, that we can come up with some kind of plan for these children to have adequate facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With that, oral communications closed. What's next, please?
Authority member staff comments.
Any comments? Okay. I have a question from Madeline. Madeline, is there any programs through HUD or Housing Authority that is able to do expenditures as Mr. Milano suggested? Are there anything out there that we don't know about?
Well, Mr. Chair, members of the Housing Authority, I don't know if Mr. Milano knows this, but the YMCA will not turn down any young person. And they have a sliding scale for young people to join the Y. And so I think Mr. Milano might that doesn't answer your question, Mr. Yusefian, but I wanted to mention that I know that for a fact, that they will not turn down any young person. We would have to look at it very carefully. Funds are very tight. We're right now going through the CDBG proposal review process. It would have to be probably part of that process in order to become an eligible
So outside
activity.
of the CDBG, there are no other special funds out there that is going to help?
No, not as far as I know.
So if YMCA would like to come in and ask for a certain amount of funding to provide services to the young men and women, then they have to go through the CDBG process.
Yes, and also CDBG funds cannot be used for day-to-day operational costs. They have to be new or expanded type programs.
Thank you. What's next, please?
Any new business?
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.
Second.